Hello and welcome to another episode of VFX Talks, a show about leadership and development in the VFX industry. My name is Alfred Lindahl, and today I'm talking with CG and VFX supervisor Cristian Spagnuolo. Cristian has some 20 years of professional experience in 3D and VFX for commercials, TV series and movies, most recently as a CG supervisor at DNEG Montreal. His CV includes titles like Star Trek Discovery, Cats, Noelle, X-Men Dark Phoenix, and a lot more. Cristian is also an experienced trainer and mentor, and he has this YouTube channel called Pixel Mentor, PXL Mentor, link in the show notes. And what I really think sets Cristian's content apart is that it talks about what it means to be a professional, how to work in a professional, structured way. So that is the importance of using references, naming conventions, using a proper look dev scene and stuff like that. So I really think you should check that out when you're done with this episode. The main theme of this episode is the state of the VFX industry. So we talk about what brought us here, what we might expect for the future. We talk a lot about AI and maybe how we can think about that and work with that. We talk about advice for students getting into the industry in these turbulent times. We talk about what's up with all the crappy Hollywood movies these days, and much, much more. So, without further ado, here's my conversation with Cristian Spagnuolo. Cristian, welcome to VFX Talks. I'm really happy to have you.
Thanks for having me. My pleasure.
It's been a few months since we started talking about doing this episode, and I guess a lot of stuff has happened since then with both AI parts and in the industry as a whole. But I think we should start with introducing you a bit so people have a sense of where you come from and what background you come from, so they know why you say certain things and if they should trust you or not. So how did you get into VFX and where are you today? Like, what's the short version?
Okay, let's say long story short, the first time I opened a 3D software was 3ds Max, and it was the version 1 for Windows. So we're talking about probably over 30 years ago. I was 12, 11, something like that. I was lucky enough because I had a computer since I was 6, 7 at my home, because my father's job, he was like a manager for a telecom company in Italy. So they force the manager to have like computers at home. And that was probably my lucky, because I got like this machine and I was like, oh, what is this? And I took my hands on that. I started like with 2D programs, was CorelDRAW back in the day, PaintShop Pro, something like that. And then I discovered 3D, like through, I think it was Command & Conquer was a game. I was playing, they were like full motion videos in the end done in 3D. But back in the day, they were seems like super cool. But then if I look at them now, obviously it's not the same. But then that got my attention. I said, like, oh, that's cool. How they do it? So like, back in the day, there was no Google, no YouTube, no nothing whatsoever. We're talking about like super slow internet connection with a 14 kilobyte modem, something like that. So it was very difficult also to find information. So there were only a couple of books that you can find in the libraries. But it was what shaped me in the way I am right now probably comes from there, because it was so difficult to get into it. That to get into it, you need to be very passionate about what you are trying to do. So spend nights like building, I don't know, a cube or a sphere. I mean, like I had like a computer with 8 megabyte of RAM. Megabyte, okay? Yeah. Now we talk about 64 gigabyte of RAM with an average computer. So it was like even difficult to have in a viewport a cylinder and a box to make a sort of a column. So it was like, yeah, that's where I come from. So that's where my passion comes from. And I studied like in a school in Italy, called like European Institute of Design, that at that time was in the first year they were doing like this virtual design course. There was like many CG It was a 3 years course. I mean, like that CG part itself was not that much compared to the overall like curriculum of the school. There was like arts related, morphology, semiotic, was everything related to art in general plus CG. And I have to say that even if back in the day I was thinking it was like stupid things to learn, I think again those things are the things that shaped my entire culture for visual in general, because I did cinema courses, not only CG. So yes, I was bored back then, but now I still have those things in my blood. So I always refer to those things.
Yeah.
So after that, I built like my first little reel with a bit of job from the school, plus some other stuff that I thought could be useful for different markets. So a little things for design, a little things for architecture. Again, in Italy it's still not as big as a market as it is here in Canada or in Europe in general. But back in the day, it was like nothing. So you have to prepare yourself for, if you want to eat, you have to go whatever, you can find job in always related to computer graphics, but you need to find something. So I landed my first job in let's say in a VFX, a small company that was doing commercial in Italy. So I had the chance to work for 1 year there, and I learned a lot because I tried new things, because they were like small little things that you need to do here and there, but always different. So that's also where I started to pivot toward the generalist kind of path, because I needed to do a bit of modeling, a bit of texturing, lighting. Obviously, the quality was whatever it was, but it was my first job. I was trying my best. I was trying to always push my limits and the boundaries over.
When was this? What year?
2004, 2005.
Yeah.
Something like that. So actually 20 years ago. I think this year is my 20th officially when I really started to work as a freelancer in Italy. Yeah. So I think this year marks my 28th birthday in the industry. But again, I did like some little things here and there even before. So again, so after that, I started to do some freelancing things in the evening while I was leaving my job, because again, I wanted to do new things, find new clients and things like that. And at some point, I decided with a friend of mine to go to LA for 4 months, like that. We both left our jobs and we went to LA to explore and say, okay, that's the land of the movies. Is it something that I cannot reach because I'm not good enough? Or is it something that I cannot reach because I'm Italian, because I don't have enough knowledge, whatever. I want to go see what's happening. So I also did like a couple of courses at normal school. Something absolutely not related to my primary skill set. So I did human anatomy and sculpting with Madeline Spencer. Back in the day, she was Scott Spencer. And we did I did these 2 courses. It was amazing to see artists. I met like Ryan Kinsling. I met like other big artists, big names right now in the industry. Joe Sherman, that now was the modeler for Iron Man. All Iron Man is the guy that made it. It was like a student back then. I was already a professional. He was a student still. So, it was like, it was like open. I opened my mind when I went there. And I met Alex Alvarez, the owner of the Gnome School. And I met him in the corridor and I said, like, do you mind if I show you my reel? Because I want to understand if I'm good enough. And he said, yeah, sure. Come to my office. It was like super nice, super friendly. Yeah. So I went to his office. He saw my stuff. It was a very basic reel back in the day. And he said, like, if you were American, you would have found a job tomorrow morning. That was the only word I needed to hear. And I said, okay, now that I've gone back to Italy, I'm not going to work anymore for any small company in Italy. I want to start to find freelancing contract abroad, good companies. I refused some other like opportunity in Europe. There were small companies that I didn't feel them properly. So I had my first big shot with Pixomondo 1 year later. I went to Pixomondo Shanghai. I went like 4 months there, couple of projects for Chevrolet. Was, again, some of the skills that I acquired back in the day about design and things like that helped me doing renders for Chevrolet and stuff like that. So everything was little by little, I was putting pieces together and I was able to give the best at the moment. And then I moved to Frames to London. I was doing like commercial for Nokia. And then I came back again. They called me back again in Pixelmondo Shanghai. And then I started to do all Europe everywhere. I went to teach also. I did some collaboration with Autodesk in Italy because they wanted me to do training for them. So again, generalist, tutoring, mix of things here and there. And then I came the first time in Montreal, I think it was 11 years ago, for a freelance gig. This VFX supervisor found me online. They asked me if I want to join because they have to do some project for was a sci-fi channel, was a Strip the City, was a sort of how do I say? It was a series about how the city are built, and they were using CG to strip the city, to open the ground, to show them inside. It was not that complex as CG, but it was like at the service of the narration, you know, to tell like stories and things like that. And it was an interesting project. And then these two guys, and now are friends of mine, are the one that called me back again 2 times in Montreal, again for another freelance gig. And then 8 years ago now, for a longer contract. It was supposed to be 1 year. And then from that point on, my life was here in Montreal. So I went from Moco, that was this small company. I went to MPC, Milfilm, DNEG. So I did like a little bit of big companies also here in Quebec. And that's where I'm right now. So I'm doing like CG soup, sometimes VFX soup, mainly on commercial. But mainly I'm a CG soup on movies, TV series. But I did like a bit of everything. I did also architecture back in the day, like some previews. So yeah, that's where I am right now.
Awesome. And then you do a lot of tutoring and teaching and mentoring.
Yeah. I mean, like as I said, I started to do teaching and mentoring back in the day for Autodesk. I would say I'm doing it since over 12 years. Tutoring in general. And I also do like private mentorship and stuff like that. I also help people for free. And I'm moving towards a little bit more the content creation right now with Pixel Mentor. That is my brand right now. I decided that it was the time to put myself out there. Obviously, I'm not like a good Samaritan for sake of it. I mean, like, I'm not going to do it for free every time. I'm also doing it like paying kind of mentorship and tutorial and stuff like that. But I can say without any problem that I help like a lot of people for free. So there are a lot of people that get in touch with me online, on LinkedIn, for instance, ask me for doing like portfolio review and stuff like that. Sometimes I do like big events where I review like, 10, 15 reel at the same time. Sometimes it's a very one-to-one thing. And I mean, like, I like to do it, and I like to help people to grow in their craft, because it's also good for me if I know people that I helped and I know that are reliable. So people that I just mentored, I know exactly I mentored them and I know how they are. So if I need to hire someone, then I know that those are reliable, you know. But in general, it's more for the idea of like try to help people that maybe don't have the opportunity to go in big school or paying like high fees for mentoring and stuff like that.
Yeah.
I will try my best to help them. If I see that the person is very interested, if she or he want to do like very, if he want really to do this job, I will be more than happy to help. In more than a session, I did like hours and hours for free. So I don't have any problem in that. Luckily, I'm still like, money-wise, I'm still good enough with my primary job. So I can help people. So yeah, it's something that I do on the side for now. Maybe it's going to will become more like a main job. Who knows? I don't know.
Yeah. Awesome. I think it's really good that you're trying it out and trying to see if it can be a bigger part of what you do. Because it's a really good, really valuable resource for a lot of people.
Yeah, I mean, like it's also the fact that one thing I notice in general in the kind of tutorial and video that you can find online is obviously for a person that doesn't have any knowledge. You go on YouTube, there are like thousands, if not millions of videos, and how that person can know that the knowledge that is learning on a video, it's good enough or it's completely wrong. Because I don't want to I don't want to be rude, but majority are like completely wrong technically. There are many videos you can find that are like completely wrong in a technical way. So, and if someone starts to learn things in a certain way, they're not going to be able, it's going to be much more difficult to learn it in the proper way. Because if you want to be an hobbyist, if you want to do it as an hobby, if you want to do it on your own, do your own things, fine, do it how you want it. But if you want to have a chance to work in the industry, you need to learn how to do things in the industry. And because that we have specific way of doing things, not because we are crazy, but because there's a certain kind of specific that we need to respect. Yeah. So it's like you want to run, you want to learn to do a marathon. You go out, you take your shoes, you run. Yes, maybe you're going to be able to do a marathon at some point, but you're never going to be able to compete with the professional that are being trained by a professional trainer that will tell you which one is the right tools to use. They will tell you how to use it. They will tell you exactly the kind of exercise that you need to do to grow up faster and better.
Yeah.
And you're going to go and run your first marathon and you're going to do like a very good timing compared to the person that does everything by itself, looking online, who's suggesting you to buy the Nike shoes, who's suggesting you to buy the Reebok shoes or whatever, and do this training, no, it's better this, do this diet, no, it's better this, without knowing you, without knowing your background, without knowing anything about you. While the mentor that work with you, knows your specific, knows your very strength point. So it's pointless to say, oh, I want to be, let's say, a character artist, but you have no knowledge of anatomy and trying to sculpt in ZBrush, thinking that the solution is ZBrush.
Yeah.
It's like not putting the foundation on a building and start to build the walls. At the second floor, the wall will collapse.
Yeah.
Because there's no foundation. And so, for instance, like my mentorship is called VFX and CG Foundations for a specific reason. Because for me, it's more important to teach why we do things in a certain way, how to do things. And I don't care if you use Blender, Maya, 3ds Max, Cinema 4D, whatever it is out there. It's not that the most important thing. The most important thing is like how you do things and why we do things. Because if you know those things, you can use whatever software you want.
Yeah.
If instead you know just the software, you know where to click. I remember probably a couple of days ago, I had like a chat with a guy that was starting to use Blender, and I said, it's fine. And I saw in one of his project, it was the donuts, the Blender donuts. Yeah, everyone is doing like Blender donuts. It's fine. But I asked him like, are you able to make a cake with the same technique that you use for doing the donuts? And he said, no, because he was able to do only the donuts, maybe with the different colors, maybe with different sprinkles on top. But are you able to use that knowledge to make something different? No, because he didn't learn the knowledge. He learned how to do a donut. And that's the biggest problem. So, easy as that.
Yeah.
So make a cake, guys, in Blender. Don't do donuts.
Yeah, for sure. Understand why you do what you do and how. Yeah. But the reason that we started talking was we wanted to talk about the state of the industry, and we started to talk back in before Christmas sometime. I guess November or something, with all the strikes going on, and we started discussing the state of the industry and how people should think, because I'm teaching a lot as well, and we have this perspective of the students or the juniors coming into the industry now. What the hell do we tell them? What should they expect? And so that's how we started to talk about this. So, but maybe we should just like lay the foundation and talk about actually the state of the industry. What is happening and why do we look at this strange landscape?
That's exactly what you said. I mean, we start all this conversation on LinkedIn because of this reason, because we both love our job. We both love tutoring, mentoring, and the sparkle was, what are we gonna tell to those people? I mean, like they are like coming into an industry is like completely flipped upside down, and we don't see the light at the end of the tunnel, and that's all. So many negative things that we can say about it, and that's not the point. The point is what's the reality of it? I mean, what's happening? I mean, like at least my version of it, my vision of it. We all know that AI is happening, but it's not only about AI. It's not. I mean, the strike was the main reason why writers and actors went on strike, was the fear that AI would have been used in the wrong way to replace them and not pay them in a fair way.
Yeah.
That's roughly the main reason why this happened. And it means that big companies are always more, and we're talking about Netflix, the Skyline actually, Netflix, Disney, Paramount, Apple, all those big players, they obviously want to make money. And it's fine. Absolutely. You're making a business. But try to make a business saving money on using AI to create actors or recreate actors based on one shot of a person, of a professional, is not fair. So you already making a lot of money in the business doing the regular stuff, because they were doing like project movies and everything since forever. Since cinema born, they are doing project. They are making monies because those companies make monies. That's a matter of fact.
Yeah.
Now the fact that they're becoming more greedy and they want to make more monies, using and abusing of new technology is not the right way. And obviously, artists like writers and actors that are risking their job, because imagine if at some point Disney can write an entire script without a script writer and using AI and say, write me a story about blah, blah, blah. Maybe it can be a good story, maybe it can be a bad story, whatever. But the point is, AI is not generating those information by itself. It can be images or it can be text, but it's using library of information that often are not acquired properly, let's say like that.
Yeah.
So that's the main topic. The main topic is the fairness, the legality, I don't know how to say it in another way, of how AI is generating those prompts or those images using artist's job.
Yeah.
So, and that's the wrong part. So the fact that it's not ethic the way AI is working. So for sure there should be at some point some regulation that are trying to do it, and it's one thing. So the main reason why there was a strike was because of this reason, trying to avoid big companies to cut out a lot of people because they were abusing of a tool. And it's fine. They won it. They found an agreement. I don't know exactly the specific of the agreement that the SAG-AFTRA syndicate found, but they found their own agreement. We, as a people in the industry, we don't have the same luck. We don't have a union. We are trying to make unions. There are companies that are moving towards that. Not companies, but group of people that work in companies that are trying to unionize themselves, because also it's a very complex topic to make a union in VFX. And that's something that could help us, but only on the legal side. What can help us on the how we can fight AI, or should we fight AI? Is it really a dangerous thing? Because there are like very different opinion from people in the industry, artists, supervisor, leads, whatever, managers. They all have different opinion.
Yeah.
I still don't know exactly what, I mean, no one can know which things are going, obviously. But I still believe, and I strongly believe, that human mind and human creativity, it's unbeatable. Maybe in 6 months, someone will show me that I'm completely wrong. There will be like a super good AI to do everything. But first of all, let's consider again that all the things that AI is capable of doing is because it's copying and replicating something that already is there. And who did that? Us. We create those things. So we create those stuff, and AI is using our stuff to create new things. So it's a tool. It's not the enemy. It's something that you need to use. There will be people using it and abusing it. Absolutely. Everything, everywhere has been used and abused. There's something we can do to block people at Disney or people at Netflix to using AI to create product. I don't think we can. I don't think there's a way we can stop those things. But I still believe that the product that will come from human mind, human hands, and human heart will be much more well received than a very cold interpretation of a text. And I don't think also, if you ever work in the industry, I don't think there's a way you can please the client with a line and write, oh, fix me this. With no offense for the clients, but majority of the time they don't know what they want. And you're good enough as a supervisor or a lead or an artist to make the client happy because you understand and you can read between the lines.
Yeah.
Thing is, without the culture, without the knowledge, without the visual knowledge, there's nothing out there. And there will be always someone with the knowledge to write those scripts. Because I use it too. I use Open ChatGPT. I use like Midjourney to do some stuff. But I know what I want. I know exactly what I want, and I have like a visual culture. So how I can write, make a scene in the Godfather style if I never saw the Godfather or whatever other movies. How I can reference an artist to copy the style from if I don't know that artist. AI will not come with something by itself. There will be always someone to be there. Yes, sure, there can be an image, but you need to find the image. You need to find a pleasing image. You need to find something that is. So this will cause people to lose their job, probably. But that's how it's happening in every new technology out there.
Yeah.
Since the economical boom, it's always been like that. Every kind of decades or whatever, there's a new technology comes out and make our life faster and easier, and people that lose a job. Automation in automotive or in fabric or in whatever, the chain, the automatic chain, that was good, the one that was created by Ford, I think, and in the automotive, like a lot of people lost their job, but we were able to create much more car. So
the assembly line.
The assembly line. Sorry. So I mean, like the point is, when motion capture came out, 20 years ago, people were saying, "Oh, animation is dead. There's not gonna be any more animators." And did it happen? No, we still use motion capture because we need to use it to do certain kind of thing. But you still need animator to clean it up. You still need animator to do extra kind of animation. Because if you need to do like an 8-leg creature, what you gonna motion capture? An 8-leg creature doesn't exist. You need someone to do that thing.
Yeah. So and the director might want to change
exactly
the even if it's a humanoid.
The 7-leg creature, you know. So that's the thing. I mean, like every time there's gonna be new technology, you have two choices: or refuse the technology and stay behind, or go into it, learn it, take advantage of it, and become a better professional because you are able to take that tool, that technology in your belt and say, okay, I can do better things. So 20 years ago, there was no GI, there was no global illumination in CG. And Pixar was doing movies, placing like 20, 30, 100 lights in a shot to simulate the global illumination. When GI came out, the lighters lose their job? No, they can do much better job in less time. It means that we can produce more things and we can focus more on the artistic side of it rather than the technical part of it. Yeah. All the tools that we're using right now, in 20 years that I'm using them, evolved so much that you have no idea. There was no ZBrush 20 years ago. We were doing like sculpting and pouring like in Photoshop, like trying to understand how the deep should be. Like it's matter of fact, the quality was obviously worse than how it can be right now. Now we can make better quality because you actually do it in 3D. Same things for painting textures. Now all people knows that we can use Mari, we can use Substance Painter or whatever other painting software. 20 years ago, you were painting in Photoshop textures based on the UV unwrap, trying to understand roughly, oh, I'm trying to paint a line here on the shoulder. Based on the UVs, I think then the line is here, but then the UVs were curved, so you have to make a line that was curved. People that only use Mari or Substance Painter don't know the struggle of doing it in a manual way. Yeah. So they think that it was always been like that. For them, it's always been like that. For me, it was not like that. So I know the struggle and I learned the thing. So I know that now I can produce better quality because I know Substance Painter, I know Mari, and I can do it faster. That's it's obviously in a much smaller proportion, but AI will become a tool that we need to embrace. And we need to be only sure that it's being used in an ethical way to create all the material and the library inside it. That's what we need to try to fight about. Not the tool itself, but the way the tool is used. We need to fight to the fact that company will not abuse to get rid of people, of the artists that are the core of the industry, but to make things better. So yes, let's use AI to propose multiple ideas to the client so we can reach the 50% of the production can be reached in a very fast way. So we have much more time to spend in actual doing the job way, in the best way. That's what we should do it. So let's use AI to cut corner. I use it to do like some script in Maya. I'm not a scripter. I don't know at all how to script. I just do like the very basics. But I know what I wanted from Maya, and I explain it. I do the test. I can figure out where the problem is, and I can correct. In 5 iterations, I made a script for a project I was working on, and we saved weeks of time because of a basic script that I made in 10 minutes.
Yeah.
I'm not saying that a TD would not be able to do it, but the time that it would have taken me to go to the guy, explain him what I wanted, why I wanted, how it needs to be done, and then the iteration, and then publish it in a proper way in the pipe, would have taken at least 1 week. I was able to do it by myself in 10 minutes, 15 minutes, and it was working.
Yeah.
That's it.
And I guess you could argue that then you're taking the job of a TD, a scripter.
It's not really, because he has much more complex things to think about. A pipeline, I will never be able, because I don't have the knowledge on how to build a pipeline in the proper way technically. I know the idea, but I will not be able, even with a year with AI probably, I would not be able to do it because it's not my job.
Yeah.
But for small things, I don't need to waste the time of a TD. It's like asking to me to create a cube. Same thing.
Yeah.
I know how to create a cube. So don't waste my time to ask me, oh, how do you create a cube? Oh, you click there and you do it. But if you go to a junior, for a junior, maybe create a cube. Obviously, I'm oversimplifying. Yeah. But for a junior to create a cube, it's already an achievement. So that's the difference, you know? So don't bother a professional to do his job while he has much more important things to do, while you can do simple things with the help of an AI if you know what you're looking for and what you're doing. Things with images. I'm working right now on a tutorial, and I wanted to have the feeling of a final pack shot as a tutorial about the shoe in a reel, blah, blah, blah. I'm not going to spoil too much because I want to keep it secret. But I wanted a feeling, and I wanted to understand how I'm going to put it out. So I describe it. I said which one was the shoe, what kind of environment I wanted to see in it, what kind of mood I wanted. In 20 minutes, I was able to create 5 IRS images to give me the exact mood that I want to. From one image, I will take a specific area. From one image, I will take a specific feeling. I will reimagine it in a certain way. But it's going to be much easier for me now that I want to jump in Unreal and create the environment instead of guessing what I want to do, because I still have to, from my mind, put it really into the software. I already put it into my mind with an image. It's a reference image. Yes, someone can argue, oh, but that's a concept artist's job. But I'm doing things for myself. I'm not doing life for someone else. So, and again, if I'm in a company and I need to show something fast to a client to understand, oh, is this the direction you want it? Let's do it. I try. Oh, is something that you're interested in? Then I have an overall idea. The client said yes. And then I go to a concept artist and say, okay, do me this in this way, production ready. So split it in different layers. Do me this, do me that. And that, but I didn't waste the time of the artist to come and like do some sketches for me to like show to the client, because I still don't know what I want.
Yeah.
So I'm saving money for the company. I'm saving the time of the client, and I'm actually putting the artist already in a good spot to start and do 100% of that knowledge and creativity on that things that is already well, it's already well started. Because also, one of the things we need to understand is that when you work in production and you do so many iterations on something, at some point you lose your inspiration. That's the reality. If you do 20 iterations just to understand where we are going, your initial, sparkles and ideas and everything goes away. While if I give you the piece, give me 100% on this, you're not going to lose like your creativity in other things that can distract you. So if you look at it in this way, maybe it's not that bad.
Yeah. And I guess if you think about AI as a tool that can help you produce more, quicker, and reach a higher level, that to me, because I like to work in like small companies, small teams, where you get like really, you get the nice team spirit and you work closely together and you like brothers in arms kind of stuff.
Yeah.
And then it feels like you could be able to do much cooler stuff. Like you could work on Hollywood kind of productions with a small team that would be impossible to do now with what we have today. Now you have to have like 500 people working on a big show.
Absolutely. That's one other game-changing tool. It's Unreal, obviously. If you look at what you can do right now with Unreal compared with 4 or 5 years ago, and that's a thing. Also, it's giving, as you said, to small studios. All this tool can give to small studios the opportunity to compete at a higher level.
Yeah.
Obviously, a big company is a big machine, can do like, 500, 1,000 shots in 6 months because you have like 500 people.
Yeah.
But it doesn't mean that a small studio cannot do like 100 shots in 6 months at the same quality using the latest and greatest technology. Because yes, big studio has the big army and has the big tools. I work in both big and small studios. They have pros and cons on both things. But when you are in a small studio, it's much more easy to use new tools, bring them in the pipe, experiment. Most of the time, the smaller studios, you have like higher seniority, and you have people that you can like rely. You say brother in arms. You can trust them completely. Say, oh, do this, I will do this, I will do that. And that's the beauty of it. The new tools, new technology can give the chance even to small studios or small freelancer to create stunning images in a matter of like days before it would take months. And that's the beauty of it, because again, this all comes back to the fact that what do you want to do? I mean, like, what's your passion? If your passion is creating like stunning visual images, videos, whatever it is, you need to be able to use the latest tool. It's not cheating. It's using the tool. I'm the person behind the tool. I'm the one driving it. Again, what GI is cheating compared to 10 years ago? What the new Uber shader that you can find, PBR workflow, is cheating compared to the shader you can do like 10 years ago? No, it's evolution. The difference is, like Darwin was saying, the species that survive is the one that evolve, is not the stronger. So you need to evolve, not to be the stronger. So
but how do you see if smaller studios can do the work of bigger studios, then we won't need as many VFX artists?
I don't think so, because if you consider that rather than this very specific moment where we are like in a very bad position, like if you look right before COVID and even right after COVID, with all the streaming content, with everything that is out there, the amount of shot of product that we need to do, it's among us. There's not enough people to do the job properly. Because as much as people can think that we are not that many, if we are a good amount of people, we are And also, we need to talk about who is really doing it in a professional way, or is an amateur who's really want to be a professional, or who really doesn't want to do it as an hobby. And there are also different kind of things. So professional wise, there are not that many. I don't think we are that over like a couple of thousands of real high-end professional. Then there's a lot of people that orbit around the industry, that come in and out. Some people that try as a job and they don't fit in the industry, because also it's not that easy to work in this industry, because it can be demanding, can be a lot of work to do, and not everyone can be up to do this job. It's like it's the major league. Okay, there are like a lot of like small studios. You can do the freelancer doing your small things. You can work with very small studios that can do really, really small things. But when it comes to the high-end product for TV series, for movies, it's the major league. It's not the only VFX or CG that exists in the world. I mean, there's people that do is like only 2D design. Don't get offended. I'm not saying that you are less of an artist if you do design, but I mean, like, I'm not going to be able to do a pack shot. I'm not going to be able to do those things. So, but working in 3D with CG, VFX, and so on and so forth, it's really the major league. So there are not that many people that are able to arrive in the major league and stay in the major league for a long run. There are people that comes in, they don't fit, and they go away. People that are finishing. There are people that goes into retirement too. So it's not only an industry that. So there are still a lot of job, and I don't think we're gonna steal job from people, or people gonna lose job. There's always gonna be more job, because back in the day you were doing like 50 shots in a movie. Now it's 1,000, 1,500, 2,000 shots.
Yeah.
It can go from cable removal to sky replacement to explosions and destroy an entire city. Yeah. So there's a wide range of like shot that you can find. And I still think that there's a lot of job to do. If you look at the catalog of like the streaming content. Those content were not there 5 years ago. So the amount of job that in 5 years, due especially to COVID, it's out there now, it's among us. And the industry didn't grow up at the same time.
Yeah.
So that's why I'm saying, like, I still think that there's a lot of job. There's going to be people that are going to lose their job? I think so. Don't get me wrong, guys, but are the ones that are worth it? I don't know. If AI can replace your expertise, maybe your expertise was not that valuable. If an AI at some point will replace me as a supervisor, I will make peace of mind of it, because it means that my knowledge is not enough, and I cannot give that plus that a machine with 0 and 1 can do. And that's it. That's over.
Yeah.
So,
and something that I'm thinking about is that as the tools get more accessible, and like the democratization of the VFX or whatever, the creative industry, it makes so that you can do more, like you can have explosions in some local commercial or some social media thing. Then you can do those. The smaller productions can be much more high end.
Yep.
So the demand will, I guess it's growing, and we'll continue to see the growth of like advertising.
Exactly. I think that overall it's enhancing the quality of all the visual product that are around us, from the small like a video on YouTube that you can find or TikTok to the big production out there. So you need to find your niche. You need to find your sweet spot, where we want to go. If you want to go in VFX, there's a certain kind of path. There are certain kind of good things and bad things. And on the other side, if you work by yourself, there are like artists that are like artists. I don't like the word artist when it comes to our job, but it's a sort of art. And personally, I don't think myself as an artist, even if probably I am in a way. But for me, I come from old school. The idea of artist, it's something different. But anyway, there are like people that are able to create like thousands, millions of views with very, let's say, basic content with CG, and that's their main goal. They don't want to go on VFX. They don't want to work on movies. They don't care about doing like the good turntable with a good shader, with everything, with a reference board. No, they throw ideas, they throw stuff, and they're happy with it. So it's fine. And they can make also money with it. Like do the motion graphics with 3D, with stuff like that. It's cool, super cool. So I think there's a lot of, because we always look at our little things, our VFX, while CGI is used everywhere in a big or small portion. And not always we need to do like the Avengers kind of quality, but you can do like a very basic one, because sometimes it's more funny to have like an explosion that's very bad on a video, because that's your purpose. So
Yeah.
why not?
Yeah. Yeah, I'm looking forward to, well, I'm already able to do much more advanced stuff when I can do keying in with like AI, and so I can do more of the compositing, so then I can take on a more advanced project to do by myself. And,
I mean,
I look forward to doing more of that.
Yeah, already the simple thing is that right now in Photoshop, you take an image, select background. Like 5 years ago, not that much. You have to go there, and you already have like very advanced feature to do the masking. 5 years ago, 10 years ago, you didn't even have those things. You have to go almost by pixel to mask it out.
Yeah.
Now you go in and select it. And do select background or select subject, replace sky. And now you have AI integrated in Photoshop. You can enhance your image. So that's the point. Why I have to lose my time doing a tedious job that is like enlarging an image to take clone brush, grab images from internet, replace it? Is that artistic? To enlarge an image to have more room for your creativity? No, it's not. That's not the point. The point is not you using the tool. The point is you using all the software to give something out there. So if you losing your time before was 2 hours to enhance your background, to enlarge it and have more room to add stuff, now you can do it like in 10 seconds. And then you can put the remaining 1 hour and 50 minutes like doing the actual job. That's what you should be happy about. AI giving you back time of your day to maybe enjoy your family, because you can do more job, less time, and you can have more free time.
Yeah.
Because yes, maybe you're going to have jobs that are less paid, but you can do more in the same amount of time. So is it really bad? I don't know.
Yeah.
But like, I don't have the answer. That's what I think.
Yeah. And I guess you see a lot of cool demos now with generative AI, but I think about how long it will take for it to be able to be used in production in a VFX, like high-end VFX pipeline. Now I guess the biggest hurdles are the copyright issues, that I guess the big studios are afraid of using something that might be like, oh, this is trained on copyrighted data, so they get sued, and that would be...
It's not only that. If it's AI generated, they don't have copyright on it, so everyone can use it. That's the other side of the coin. Is that
I didn't think about that.
Being AI generated, it's copyright free, so it means that everyone can steal part of your movies, and you have nothing to say about it.
Or isn't it owned by the, like, if you use the like OpenAI, aren't they?
Maybe it's owned by OpenAI, but anyway, for sure, it's not going to be Disney owning that generated footage.
Yeah.
So they cannot even, I don't even know if they can resell it. That's the thing. I don't know how it works legally, the whole thing.
Yeah.
But there are still a lot of technicalities around it that will not let them be able to use it fully for real production, because there's a lot of legal things for copywriting.
Yeah.
And also, yes, maybe at some point this will be part of production, of a real life production. The quality will be stable. It's all gonna be like color compliant in the same way it's gonna be ACES, CG, because that's also some other things we need to consider. No, I mean, like, LUT kind of things, OCIO, color space. There are like many, because again, every time I see people like screaming, "Oh, they're gonna lose our job! Look, Sora AI is doing these amazing things." Sure, but you write something, but what is outputting is exactly what you were looking for, or it's a beautiful piece of image, it's a beautiful piece of video, but it's 100% what you want. Is it the same thing as if you take your camera, do the same kind of movements, do it in exactly the same way, go in the right time and like locking your camera on a specific and peculiar piece of the narration that you're telling, or it's completely random things? Yeah, it's beautiful, but is that what you want? Is that what the client wants? So that's always the thing.
Yeah.
Because you can create whatever you want based on your own taste. It's the same thing that I say to people when I watch their reel and they don't use reference or they don't use stuff. So you see beautiful explosion. Okay, is it a random things that happen like that, or you really want it to do like that? Because when you go in production, you can have a director and say, okay, now you do an explosion, then it becomes like a shape of a dragon and then eats this house and it becomes all ice. Can you do it? That's what the difference between someone that do a test and someone that can do the job is this. You need to be able to follow specific direction. So if you do an explosion with a reference on the side, and you show me that you are able to reproduce 95% whatever I'm seeing on the screen. And there's a sparkle, there's the explosion, the color of the explosion based on the kind of fuel that they're using, the smoke and everything. It's the same thing with the AI. So you write, okay, give me a cat that smile with a hat in the head. Okay, but you were looking for that specific kind of race of cat, typical cat, that kind of a hat you wanted on the head of the cat, is smiling in the right way, or you need to smirk first and then smile. Those nuances.
Yeah.
Are you able to catch them with Sora AI, with Midjourney, with whatever tool you're using? I don't think so.
I guess it's going to be the same when digital cameras started to become popular. Like my dad is a photographer, retired now, but then it became like this, well, we don't need photographers anymore. We can just send out this girl from the office with the camera and everything looked like shit. And then they had to go back and maybe we need photographers.
Yeah, but that's the thing. I mean, the foundation. Yeah, your dad has so many years of experience that for him to adapt to a new media, there was the digital camera, took him like a couple of weeks, a month, maybe whatever. And he was able to transfer his knowledge that is here to a new tool.
Yeah.
But if you don't have this and you just have the tool, you can take a 5K camera, a 10K camera, a 50K camera, and the photographer with his iPhone is going to make much better picture than you with a $10,000 camera.
Yeah.
So that is the same thing.
So maybe we're going to see the same development where companies try to use AI to generate a commercial, for example. And it's going to be like, okay, but it's not going to be good enough. Like we talked about.
For instance, there was, like, even in that situation, I'm going to tell you an example. I had a friend of mine that called me for a commercial. They wanted the feeling of the AI video, where the video is moving and is transforming and is doing specific stuff.
Yeah.
I have no idea how to do it. I never did it. And I don't know if they would be able to achieve the result that the client wants. Because one thing is you randomly see a video that is being generated in a completely random way and is creating this kind of effect. But when you want it to art directed, how you can do it? That's the point.
Yeah.
So are you going to be happy with whatever result is out there or not? One example was the commercial from Coca-Cola. They did some experimentation with AI, but they mixed the AI with proper production. And it was very cool. But there was an artistic intention behind it. It was not like some random people coming out. It was a VFX company using the tools mixed with the tools that we use already to create something. And it took months to reach the result. So that's what people need to split their mindset is, are directing something and doing something completely random that can look cool, but it's not what you want.
Yeah.
So I can write an email, I can write a prompt on Midjourney, and I can have a result that is cool, and it was exactly what I was looking for, or I need then go Photoshop, fix some stuff, fix the fingers, fix the pattern that is not exactly what I was looking for. Take multiple AI generated images and pull them together to create the final look that I wanted. So I maybe again in 6 months, 1 year, like the UV technology will like say that I'm stupid in what I'm saying right now. I still believe strongly that our human mind, the human iteration, the feeling that you can do, the taste, the pace that you can give to a product, it's gonna be always recognizable. And you can recognize AI right now. When you see an image, you always look at it as it's AI. Even if you don't if you don't say that it's written in AI, but you can, that's the feeling. You have it. You can recognize the version of Midjourney if you are expert enough. They can understand like with which version of Midjourney you were working on because of specific like things that were happening. Mm-hmm. So again, I think it's a tool. I think we need to embrace it. I think we need to support the battle that are going towards the ethic use of AI, and I'm all for it. I'm not saying abuse of AI. I'm not saying don't give the right to the artist, but I'm saying like once we be sure that everything's going to be done in an ethical way, let's embrace it. Let's use it. Let's abuse it in a way that we can create amazing stuff for the viewers and for ourselves to enjoy it. It's a tool.
Yeah.
And then in 6 months, cut, no one job anymore.
But let's switch gears a bit, because when we started talking back before Christmas, AI wasn't such a big topic. Then we talked more about like the rise of streaming and how that affected and how the streaming companies weren't profitable. They were just trying to make as many subscribers as possible and then somehow start making money, and how and also like the quality of it seemed like it was quantity over quality, and it still feels like that in the film industry. There's so much like so many remakes and just follow-ups and not a lot of original content. And that it seems so weird, because then there are some original content coming out, like that are really successful, but then they still continue to no, let's do the Fast and the Furious 10 or whatever. I don't know if that's a good example, but like what is happening? Why are people just doing the same thing over and over?
I think this is again coming back to the previous topic that we're talking about, is about why you're doing what you're doing. So why production companies are doing what they're doing, why people want to be directors, and how they reach the director's position over there. Back in the day, there was probably maybe 10, 15 movies per year that were coming out. I have this memory that was a movie was in the theater for 6 months, 8 months, like 1 month. If you are like a big hit, it's 1 month.
Yeah.
So obviously it's becoming a money making business. It's always been. Now it's much more money making than that. So when it becomes like, because again, Walt Disney Company was created by Walt Disney, was the owner, was the person that was there, was the family was involved in the Disney company. Then it became a corporation. When something becomes a corporation, then you lose the soul. You sell your soul to the devil, and that's money. Then all you care is making your CA and your investors happy because you're making money. So the easy way to make money is nowadays probably it's a good franchise. It makes money. Let's make it over and over again. Look at Star Wars. I mean, like Star Wars, in my opinion, should have stopped at the first 3. But already the second 3 that came after, like something 20 years ago, probably 15 years ago, was already Now, no, I'm not a big fan of Star Wars, but the original ones were like super cool. But you know, when you have like that kind of cow that is making so much milk, you want to drain it, you know, video games, series, and it apparently is paying off because there are fans no matter what. And they're always going to follow you, even if you do very bad project. There are other cases in which you try, you make a remake. They did the Ghostbuster ones. I'm not a big fan of it. They're doing like a second one because apparently the first remake, I'm not talking about the one with the ladies of, I don't know, 10 years ago, 8 years ago, whatever. Talking about the one with the kids right now, you know, the Afterlife. I think it was Afterlife was called, and the other one is Ice something. But anyway, I'm not a big fan. I'm not a super huge fan. They obviously abuse of the nostalgia things. So they put the old characters in it, the music, the brand, and everything. So you're like, you feel still, they are using our, again, nostalgia feeling of the 80s and 90s to push our buttons and make us like products that are not even comparable with the original ones. And that's one thing. It's the quantity over quality, as you said. They push out things like they continue to put things. And majority of the time they do it only for the purpose of, we think that this is what people want, so we think that we are giving them what they want. It's not, again, actually someone that has a good story to tell and want to tell it, but it's, this is a specific kind of movie that nowadays we like it. This is a specific kind of choice, politically correct, woke choice that we need to make right now. So we're going to make happy a certain kind of people. And they think a payoff is not paying off, because last year was a disastrous year for Disney. And it was the woker year ever of Disney. And they paid the consequences of that, because I'm all for diversity. I'm all for the stories. But you need to tell a story first. And if in that story, that in the plot, there's a diversity point, there are like inclusion things, it's good. Otherwise, it's not the devil. It's not that if you don't have a movie now where there's no diversity, all the movie shit. It's not like this. I mean, like, if I want to tell a story about, I don't know, Italians in Italy in the 50s, I'm sorry, but I would take only probably Italians people, white, that I cannot put, like, I don't want to be racist anyway, I cannot put like black people or Chinese people in a movie based in the 50s in Italy. It doesn't make any sense.
Yeah.
Just to make someone happy, so I pretend to be a diverse director or a diverse person. And again, I'm all for diversity, I'm all for inclusion, but you need to, I loved many movies that were coming from different culture than mine. I mean, like, guys, that everyone has culture that are beautiful. You can have, like, Mulan was a beautiful story. Pocahontas was a beautiful story. It was nothing related to our culture in general. It was all about, obviously, revisited. But when we were a child, those stories were told without the necessity of being woke or being like inclusive. It was already inclusive. There were already stories like that.
Yeah.
There were already like main characters, male and female characters in the Disney story. Honestly, for The Little Mermaid, was really needed to change completely the character to please a certain kind of like people? I don't think so. The character was done in a specific way. I personally should have done it in that way. And make a completely different example. The new Crow movie is coming out, the new movie of the Crow. Back in the day was Brandon Lee that was perfect casted. Now they took another guy, the guy that I don't remember the name exactly. The one that did It, the movie.
I don't know.
I don't remember the name. It's a complex name. He's a good actor. He's a very good actor. But the look that they made, it's nothing compared to the James O'Barr comic book. And already people are like backslashing them. Why you have to change something that is already working? First of all, why you need to redo a movie that was already kind of perfect in my opinion when it was done in the 94 with Brandon Lee. It was perfectly casted. It ended up like that. That's it. Don't do it anymore. Now you want to redo it, but you start to change things for whatever reason. And it's not the people, it's not the people's fault. It's you as a director or as a art director that you're making this decision. So I don't know. That's the thing. I think we are going like very broad in this discussion, but that's the point. We need to go back to finding good stories, tell good stories, and people will come. If you do things just for pleasing people, then when you're going to waste a lot of money. There's no other way I can say it.
Yeah.
And the product, you need to go for the quality and not for the quantity. I know that obviously you are in the business. And again, Netflix, when it comes out with the first, was making a lot of money. And I wanted to continue the growth like that. But I think it's also stupid to think that you continue the growth in that way. I don't know who are those managers that are like reading those numbers and think they can go forever. I mean, like, that's the point. I mean, the growth at some point need to stop, especially when you have like other company like Disney Plus came into the game, Apple Plus, Paramount Plus, everything is plus. but that's the point. I mean, like, now you have to split the market in many different ways. So instead of doing quantity, they should do quality. Because there are still some products that are amazing out there and you can enjoy a lot, but are like 1 out of 10, maybe 2 out of 10. Other is filler. And you're not going to make money with fillers just to show your client that you have volumes. That's not the way you keep your client. And that's what you can see what's happening with Netflix. People are leaving the platform.
Yeah.
Because they're asking more money or whatever, the commercial that they want to put in it. But again, if you produce quality, people will not going to leave you. If you don't, and it varies in every market, in my opinion.
Yeah.
Quantity over quantity, always.
Yeah, for sure. And I think that's also with this no CGI discussion and people like talking about how we made this without CGI, and
my heart is like feeling bad.
Yeah, but that's also like, if you focus on quality, it's not a problem. People like the movies with amazing VFX, but when you do crappy VFX, then of course people are gonna be upset about it.
But you can do crappy movies with amazing VFX. It's gonna suck anyway. First of all, you need to have a good movie. Then VFX is a supporting tool for storytelling. If you make your movies made of VFX, and also those VFX are not that well, but come on, seriously, why people should pay you? You didn't make an effort either way. So the point is, obviously now there was this whole no CGI trend that was happening. I think it's slowing down, and then it's getting better. But last year, mid-year was like nightmare, and I cannot even say it was a specific person, because also we don't know exactly what they say when they cut the interview or what they write.
Yeah.
So it's very difficult to say if they really think about that. But it was obvious that you cannot say that there's no product nowadays. That's, again, something that I discussed a lot with even people from the industry. The confusion between CGI, CG, VFX, it's a big topic. I will tell my opinion. My opinion is CGI is computer-generated imagery. So whatever is generated with the use of a computer, that it means also a telephone nowadays that writes 0 and 1, it's CGI. If you do a video, if you put a text on it, if you put an effect on it, that's CGI, even if you do it with your phone. So based on this idea, and it's not an idea, it's a definition of CGI.
Yeah.
Every product out there is CGI. Now, you can tell me that you didn't use CG, and by CG probably you mean a big effort in using 3D stuff. That's another story. But you did comp. You did a lot of comp. I'm talking specifically about one one specific movie.
Oppenheimer.
Yeah. If you take, yes, you filmed it. You filmed the explosion. The nuclear explosion was real. Sure, Nolan, was real. That you destroyed like billions of people. No, jokes apart. Yes, you film it. And I'm a big fan of Nolan. I mean, like, I love the guy. He actually was a very... I also like watch one of his acceptance speech when he got the Oscar for Interstellar, I think, or Inception, one of the two. He was really praising CG, saying that without CG, he could have not done it. CG brought vision to his movies, and it's the reality. It would have not been Nolan without, especially DNEG as a company, that followed him in all his movies. So why now you are saying that you're not using CGI? While, yes, you film it. You film a lot of pieces of effect, but then you put them all together with a computer, with Nuke. I mean, like, that's in the backstage. I'm not saying anything that is not true. So you put 10, 15, 20 layers plus all the extra layers to beautify it. How you can say is not CGI?
Yeah.
That's stupid. That's only people that don't know how it works can believe that the fact that you said no CGI means, oh, we didn't use any visual effects heavy approach to do the explosion because I wanted to do majority with real stuff. Tell it in this way. But if you tell it in this way, you're not going to create the big titles, you know?
Yeah.
So obviously Ridley Scott did the same. I don't know if Ridley Scott did the same. The point is, you need to see the real interview without cuts to understand like what's gonna happen. You could cut this interview and make me say whatever you want, basically. So that's the point. So I cannot blame them directly. Obviously, it's a marketing thing. Obviously, they always want to get out of the mud of post-Marvel CGI, you know, tragedy and all the She-Hulk thing and all the problems with the Marvel comics. And I understand it that you don't want to be compared to the same things.
Yeah.
But you need to sell yourself in a different way. You can say, oh, we still believe in the power of cinematography or doing as much as we can in camera. But obviously from the backstage, I can see that in Napoleon, they use crowd simulation. They destroyed like things in CG and not in reality. Yes, you have a lot of real stuff. Like Villeneuve. Denis Villeneuve does a lot of things in the reality. Michael Bay, they built like real transformer to film them. Even the same Nolan, he create like real stuff to put them together with CG to make it better. Like the famous like Inception scene when the whole corner explode, all the papers and the fruit flies away. Yeah. Part was CG, a part was real. And that was the beauty of it. Because you use the tool at the service of your idea and the service of your narration. That's how we should use CG. When it comes too much, you lose connection with the movie. You lose connection with the reality. I understand that if you film like in space, you cannot be in space. And you have to do like, I mean, you could, but it would be a bit expensive. But that's the thing. The thing is, if you try to do something, use the tool in the proper way. There were movies that were amazing without the use of any kind of CGI. Again, Back to the Future, Indiana Jones, all the other movies of the 80s and 90s, they were using a very minimal, maybe matte painting in Star Wars, for instance. But there was a very minimal use at the service of the story. And there was, even if you look at like the first Matrix, they used like very few VFX. Because they were smart in the way they were telling the story. They were showing you things. I'm not going to do like a 200 establishing shot. I would do 2 established shots because they're very expensive because I need to build everything. Everything else will be an hint. I'll let you think what you're seeing. I suggest you, and your brain will do the job. There's also much more there's much better for audience to be able to have your version of the movie because you are imagining stuff.
Yeah.
You don't need to tell me everything like I'm a little baby and you're like giving me like spoon of content. I can create content in my mind, you know. If you give me the right direction, I can fill the blanks. That's the beauty of cinematography and of doing like product visual, you know, because you don't need to explain me everything. I'm smart enough to, you know, to make it happen.
Yeah.
But again, there were like directors and directors. Directors nowadays, it's more about, oh, we'll fix it in post. We'll fix it in post. We'll fix it in post. And then they don't have money, and then they have to rush.
And they do a poor job in post when they don't have the time and too many changes. And
then it's CGI's fault, you know.
Yeah.
Then they say, I worked on cats. They blame us for the project.
Yeah.
And I had like people working like 70, 80 hours per week on that project. It was crazy. Just to please the director, just to please the director, just to please the editor. They're gonna probably like sue me for this.
Yeah.
That's the reality. That was a thing. I mean, like we did so much job because the whole planning was completely wrong, and then the overall like idea was not working. I mean, it's an uncanny valley. Come on, those characters with those, some shot were really well done, to be honest. Not because I work on it, I was a supervisor, but some shot, if you look at them, are not that bad. But for an entire movie, your brain is gonna go like crazy. That's why people were getting drugs before going to the movie, because it was like much more entertaining to see it when we were on drugs. But that's the thing, you know. I mean, like bad decision that falls on our heads. That's where I don't like it.
Yeah,
that's where we need to take the blame for someone else, because we are a faceless entity. I used to call it. So it's easy to blame us because no one can say, "Oh yeah, it's VFX." Well, who is VFX?
Yeah.
They don't even say specific company. They say VFX. There can be like 10 companies that work on it. Maybe 8 companies did a good job. 2 companies did a shitty job. They ruined it completely. I'm not saying it's true. Don't get me wrong, guys. I'm just saying that it's so faceless, our industry, that it's easy to blame because, you know, it's their fault. No one can defend us. No one will go there and say, no, sorry, but that was your shit on camera, and it was what we did. Look at the difference. We did already an amazing job. That's what companies should do, to be honest. Companies should do like that. Yeah. Oh, yeah? Really? Let me show you what was before and after. Let me show you what you gave it to me to work. I mean, like, it's like asking me to do like a Michelin star level kind of dinner, and you bring me like rotten food. And you expect me to do like miracle. Oh, but you are an amazing chef. You should be able to do it. Yeah, sure. With good ingredients, I will be able to make like an amazing stuff. With shit ingredients, probably I will do something that is eatable and you're not gonna die. But that's a brilliant metaphor of me.
Yeah, good job. But why don't we circle back a bit to where we started with students and like juniors coming into the industry, and how do you see the future going forward? Because now we've been through, first we went through COVID, and then the strikes, and then we also have a global recession, and we have war and all kinds of shit happening at the same time. But how do you see the future? Because I'm starting to see it a bit more positively. Because I feel that what we talked about now with quality over quantity, and people waking up to the fact that, okay, we don't want to see woke movies for the sake of woke movies. We want to see good movies, and then they can be inclusive and but and also in the VFX, like people want good VFX. Yeah. So there's more of a need, a demand for better VFX, where of course a lot of companies are doing amazing VFX, but maybe the bar should be raised for all the movies, And with AI and the new tools, maybe we can do that. We can produce better stuff with smaller teams. And
I mean, like it's a very complex question, because obviously we don't have the crystal ball and see like in the future and see what's going on. I think for sure it's not an easy situation. So to approach this industry right now, it's a very tough time. So they need to be ready for that. So don't come with the idea of like rainbows, unicorns, and stuff like that. Again, maybe 10 years ago, it was much more easy both to come into the industry in a way, and also the overall like aura of the industry. You had like company that pay you relocation, they spoil you with beer time and breakfast and everything. Now they are cutting corners everywhere. So you go in these offices that are like dark and a bit dingy in a way. So I mean, like the whole like movie magic has a bit got lost a bit, especially in the big companies. Yeah. And I'm not saying in a bad way. I'm just saying the reality of it, because those big companies are like such huge expenses that when they don't work for a couple of months, it's a disaster, because they lose money like that.
Yeah.
So my suggestion is, first of all, you need to be much more prepared now than it was 10 years ago, because the quantity of artists that can come into the industry, it's much broader than before. Especially after COVID, and now the remote is a very possibility even for big companies. So you can have hybrid or even fully remote job from abroad. You have to consider that, let's say, Europe, US, whatever, they have a certain kind of life standard and life expenses. While if you go in Eastern Europe or emerging market, like they call it, so India, China, is no offenses for everyone, but are like much less expensive than European or American artists. So as a junior artist, you need to compete not only on the quality of the job that you can produce, but on the salary kind of expectation that you have. So if you expect to be paid more than an artist that paid 5 times less than you, I'm not saying that you need to be able to produce 5 times more or better, but I have an expectation different. If I have to do a basic model, I don't need like a super experienced artist here, while I can go from a young kid in Asia that can do it like for cheaper in the same quality, if they can do the same quality. So they need to be much better prepared. That's one thing for sure. So you need to find you need to have the proper knowledge. You need to be, as much as you can, already ready for production. So learn, again, proper mentor, ask to the proper people. Don't go always on YouTube to find any kind of answer to any kind of question that you have. Try to find your own answer. Try to troubleshoot your things by yourself. Become a better artist and a better professional. Also trying to raise yourself, your own bar. When you do your project with a goal in mind. I will do this because I want to learn this. I'm going to do this because I want to show this skill set. And so when you prepare your pieces for your reel, for your first reel, because you are not a professional yet, you don't have a professional reel, you need to get to the people that are going to evaluate you the feeling that you know what you're doing. I'm not saying fake it until make it, but at least produce something that is in the direction of where you want to go. If you apply for a cartoon company, don't go with a photorealistic asset. Doesn't make any sense. So be also smart. If you are able to do both, maybe do 2 different reels. One for the cartoon market, animation market, and another for the VFX and for the real stuff. Don't mix everything together. Because maybe the recruiter that is looking at the things, watch the first asset, see something it doesn't like, and doesn't look at the other 3 assets that you make that maybe can be interesting. Create a believable and a traceable kind of brand of yourself. So if you can, try to use always the same name on different kind of ArtStation, LinkedIn. So if you choose like name.surname, try to use the same things so it's easy for people to see you. Put the same information everywhere. So people from ArtStation can go to LinkedIn, from LinkedIn to ArtStation, to whatever other channel you have. So try to make yourself more available for people. Don't send like, oh, I will send them our station so they have everything. I'm not going to lose my time on looking like 20 jobs in our station. I want to see your stuff in a reel, and it's 2 minutes, 1 minute and a half, 30 seconds long, whatever it is. But show me, because it's not me, it's the recruiter. They see like hundreds of things per day. Do you think they're going to bother to go in your CV, finding the link, clicking on the link, going there, seeing like 20 jobs, click it? What do you think you are? They're not going to do it. Forget about that. So try to be easy reachable as possible. All the information needs to be at reach right away. What is your email? Phone number, I don't think is needed, but your email, your links, and if you can, for instance, on the CV, put like directly the link that you can click it instead of copy paste. Can seem as stupid things, but a recruiter that is done 100 times per day, it will thank you because you make a link that you can click and go directly to your stuff. Don't use password because you don't have a protected real password. You don't need a password for your reel because it's a student reel or whatever. So don't put any password. I don't know why people put password on like student reel, because people not going to find you. People not going to look for you. People, if you don't see the reel right away, they're going to like next.
Yeah.
So that's my practical suggestion.
And something I got to think about when you talked about mentorship, and that part is that even after COVID, when a lot of studios were like trying to find people desperately, they were looking for the senior people, because when working remote, it's harder to have a junior, and something that really sets people apart. Well, like the difference between a junior and a senior is often the soft skills. Like the senior knows how to, okay, I'm out of work, I'm going to talk to this person so to get something, or I run into a problem, I know I can troubleshoot it, but then I'm going to ask this person, or I'm going to talk to production because I maybe need some more time. So I think those soft skills for juniors or like students coming into the industry, trying to, and that's perfect with a mentor, to learn these kinds of, understand the role of the production, for example, so you know how to talk to them, and all of those kinds of like hacks. It's not hacks, it's just like how to work with.
Yeah, it's absolutely very important. It's also simply the way you present your job. Simply how you present your job. What I'm looking at. I have people junior coming and say, no words during dailies. And for the first week, what I do as an exercise, I don't say anything. I wait for people to say something. It becomes like, or is production, they say something, coordinator say something. And I say, guys, you need to present your job. You did something. So show me, tell me which one are the notes that were assigned to you, which one you did, which one you don't, which one you're planning to do. It's very simple, basic stuff, but you need to present your job. You need to be there and you need to be focused on what you're doing. And you need to guide me through, because maybe I'm looking at 100 assets in a day. Do you think I remember all the notes I give like in a week to different assets? No. So yes, coordinators are there, but it's also up to you as an artist to take your own notes, to be sure that you take your notes, you come prepared to the daily, and boom, 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 you show off, because you need to be proud of what you do. Oh, you know, Chris, I did this. You tell me that we need to fix this, things there, this color there. I did this, but I also noticed there was a problem here already, so I already fixed it. I said, fine. If you want, I can revert it. Or I did this, I did that. I still haven't done these notes because I didn't have time, or I have this problem, this other problem, and things like that. But I'm planning to do it, and the way I'm planning to do it is like this. What do you think? You should absorb as much knowledge as you can in that 5 minutes of a daily. So that's another thing that is very important for artists. They passively receive information while they should be actively looking for answer to make their job faster and better.
Yeah.
And that's what make a professional different from an artist. You can be the best technical artist in the world, but if you don't have the soft skills, like you were saying, to be able to interact with coordination, if coordination is not coming to check you. You go check coordination and say, oh, like, we do have dailies. Do I have to prepare this? Oh, but we're supposed to have like this shot. Oh, but I watched the animation. The animation is still not ready. I'm still supposed to do lighting for this shot? Because what's the point of me rendering while I'm still waiting for, yes, there's one asset, but it's missing the other one. Should I wait or should I render it anyway? They are not proactive. They don't watch it. I mean, like, it happens so many times. You go to lighters, you look at their lighting and say, but there's not the latest animation. And they are like, so did you check the play blast from the animation to see if you were using the latest one? Because when you import it, maybe there's a pipeline issue. Maybe the animators didn't release the animation in the proper way. So yes, animator thinks they did their job because they did their job. The animation is approved, but it's not coming through the pipe because there's some problem or artist problem or pipeline problem or whatever. But you, as a part of your job, you need to be sure that the things you're using in your shot are the latest and greatest as requested. So if the supervisor requested new lighting for this one, what you gonna do in the new lighting? Just open the scene, update, render without even checking? What if they change some stuff in texturing and your IDs for renderings are different? What? Never assume that it's everyone has done his job in a proper way.
Yeah.
That's part of the soft skills. And I understand that companies are more reluctant nowadays to go back to do like full remote because of this reason. It's very difficult to teach to new artists the way of working without having them like on the side. It's one thing that is getting lost in the companies, for instance, the buddy figure, the person that was helping you in the first weeks or month even in a company. And it was your to-go person to ask any question. Because you have question and you don't need to be scared to ask question. Because you don't know that company. You don't know the pipe. I mean, this is in 20 years, but if I change company, I would not know the pipe. I would not know the tools. I would not know many things of the company. It doesn't mean that I'm less a professional of the people that are in the company. Mm-hmm. I don't know their specific language. I don't know their habits. I don't know when they do dailies, of how was their procedure of doing dailies, how they start, what they do, was the hierarchy system in their company. So you need to ask, however seasoned you are, especially the more junior you are, you should ask more questions. But you go in and you ask, oh, how do I do this? Is it correct? Am I doing fine? Ask always why. The things I said to my student, my mentee, it's always ask why. If someone asks you to do something, don't be scared of ask why we're doing this. Is the client requested it? Is it a test we're doing? So you know also the effort that you need to put in something. If it's a test, maybe you just need to strip it out fast and send it as soon as you can. If it's a final note, it's a different story. You need to put your effort to be sure that it's 100% done. But that's no one teaching those things. Schools don't teach you those things. And that's the tragedy of it. You have like artists that are coming out of schools that are very well known and they have completely blank on the soft skill side. They are like amazing maybe artists, but then they fail because they don't know how to receive feedback. You give them a feedback and they get completely lost because they take it personal. Like you're offending them or you're offending their piece of art and they don't understand it's a job. If you want to do your piece of art, go home, do your stuff. But if you're here, you need to follow direction. No offense, but I don't care about your personal taste. You can propose. You can say, oh, I think we can do this. But first you do what the client asks. Because I'm the voice of the VFX soup that is the voice of the client. So if the client asks something, the VFX soup give me the note, I pass the note through the team. It's not, I can maybe prefer your version, but it's not what the client is asking. You do your version as was requested. If you have time, you do another version. And eventually I can propose to the VFX soup, both versions. And eventually if the VFX soup agrees, he can propose or she can propose to the client those things. But you need to understand that you are here paid for doing a job. Execute some stuff in the best way possible with your knowledge and your artistry. But you are at the service at the company.
Yeah.
Whatever small, big it is. Even if it's your own company, you're going to be at the service of your company that is the service of the client. So you're never going to do what you like. You're going to do what someone else like.
Yeah.
Other than if you become the client, if you become the director. And even the director, sometimes they are like under the producer of the company. And so the producer of the company, he doesn't like what the director is doing. And he goes, say, no, we're going to do this. So there's always going to be someone on top of you telling you if you're doing good or well. And even at the end, when the movie comes out, the final judge is the client and is the people that are paying the ticket to go to the movie. So if they're not going to like the job, they're not going to like the job from the producer, from the director, from the VFX, CG, lead, artist, and so on and so forth. So it's a chain, you know? Everyone has to do a little part of the job, little or big, whatever it is.
Yeah.
So for the what I suggest to the artist is it's learning in the proper way, learning from the proper mentors, learning, and hopefully the mentors that you are choosing are like professional, so they can teach you not only how to click a button, but click a button is just one of the pieces of your professional growth that you need to do, and it's not even the most important, honestly.
And as you said before, that understanding why you're doing something and also understanding the foundation. It's not so much, it feels like it's not so much software related anymore. Now it's more, you should be able to adapt and learn new softwares. And you can do that if you are a good modeler with a good understanding of polygons and edge loops. And then it's not a big step to just switch softwares.
That's it. I mean, like it's soft skills, it's a foundation. It's I would say at least 50% of an artist is not directly related to the tool to be a good professional. So yes, tool, yes, you need to know, yes, you need to have artistic taste, yes, you need to do like things in a proper way, but part of being good professional, reliable is like all the soft skills and all the things that are not there and no one show you, and you don't find on YouTube, you don't find a majority of the school, you don't find almost anywhere, other than if you really speak with a professional, I can tell you like, oh no, you should do these things in this way, you should learn how to do this stuff. And then you see them like completely change their approach. When you tell them those things, they say like, oh, no one told me before. Yeah, I know.
Yeah. But if we take a step back then to the industry as a whole, how do you think it's going to look for the coming year or years? It felt like it should have been really busy now. It felt like there should be this catch-up effect after the strikes were over and the companies started to produce movies again. But it feels like it's a bit slow still.
I think that the butterfly effect of the strike, AI, whatever happened, it's bigger and it's impacting much more than only us. Because what we didn't predict back then was that huge company like Disney, Paramount, Netflix would have started to fire on their side too and start to rebuild because they understood there are some problems. Maybe they are realizing that this is not the right way of going, and to restructure internally, it takes a bit of time for them to say, okay, maybe we made mistakes. Maybe these people were the one responsible for those mistakes. Maybe we need to restructure our hierarchy internally. There are a lot of maybes. I don't have enough knowledge of what is happening in the production company itself to say if it's the truth, but that's the reality right now is like they are restructuring too. If you see like even big companies, I will not make the names, but they made a post like last week. They replace one of their main heads. And so things are changing, hopefully for the best. And hopefully the whole industry will benefit from this restructuring because maybe they're going to start to really get the proper people in the right place. I don't know if is that the case. For production, perfect cast. VFX on the other side is going to be another big monster. I think in the future, and it's already happening, there's going to be the rise of much more small, medium studios that, as we were saying before, due to the new technology, due to having like more seniors probably under their belt, they will be able to compete quality-wise on a smaller amount of shot probably. But also there are like some company that are going under the umbrella of a new name. It's happening already. I saw like 2-3 different names that are like the umbrella name for 3, 4, 5 different companies that are based in different city, for instance, or with different like kind of time zone, so they can cover much more areas. And I think that's something that it's interesting, because imagine if one company can take 100 shots, 5 company can take 500 shots. But your point of contact for the client is always, let's say, one main producer that is controlling the umbrella company and one main VFX soup that is controlling the umbrella company. So in this way, I think you can raise the quality, lower the prices, because a smaller company for sure has less cost than a big company, and make better prices, make better quality. I think it's a good experiment. I don't know if it's going in that direction, and but I think that that's a good starting point, because again, I think this will all benefit the overall industry. So yes, maybe big companies will still there. My personal opinion is that big company that are corporation, they should like downsize, to be honest, because when you are so huge, you don't have any more an identity. You have studios that are in different parts of the world that works in a completely different ways. The idea of like collaborating, it's going out of the window because it's not really working, because you have different expertise, different seniority. I don't know. I think that going back to the core and the foundation, and people that knows really how to do the job are the one that are controlling the companies, I think is much better than having 5 extra layers of management on top of you that don't really know who are the people. Because what it's even like worse in big corporation is that, let's say you have an amazing artist that is doing very well, and this person receive an offer of like 30K more, 40K more in another company. You go to your management, you say, we need to keep the guy. No, we cannot give him the rise. Okay, so the guy is leaving. How much is going to cost us to take another person that we don't know, bring it in, training properly, and receiving the same quality? Are you sure that it's not going to cost us much more than those 20, 40K, 30K that the person is asking? So the problem with big corporations is that letting them understand what I call the collateral damages of a choice, it's impossible, because they don't care. At certain level, you don't reach. You have like 4 or 5 different level of approval in a management scale that they don't know you, you don't know them. Even if they don't know you, it's not that they don't care because they don't care about you, but they are there to make the plus at the end of the year on the Excel sheet about the money that they make. If they make 100 more or 110 or 10 more, for the investor is a plus anyway. They are not interested in the idea of like you going to them and tell them, if we're going to do it this way, probably we're going to make, instead of 10, we're going to make 20 next year more. Yeah. Because for them, the risk, or even to be bothered by that, especially because maybe that manager is there this year, but in 2 years not going to be there anymore, because he's going to go managing another company. He's going to be CEO in another company and doesn't care about this specific company. So it doesn't have the vision. Companies nowadays, I don't think they have a vision longer than 6 months to 1 year. In a business plan, you should have, in a healthy business plan, you should have a vision of 5 years, at least, to understand where you're going. I understand that our market changed very fast, but you should be able to predict those changes if you're a good manager, or at least to adapt yourself very fast to those changing to make things work in a proper way. Otherwise, what's the job of a manager? And by the way, I think that AI will replace much sooner managing job, like numbers job, than not artist job. Because in numbers, there's no there's no interpretation, it's number. So how to optimize a budget, how to optimize things, how to make a better planning, probably I'm going to be able to succeed much faster than in our industry.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I would be more scared if I was like a manager in the top companies than an artist, to be honest.
Yeah, but something I see, or I hope this will bring, is that the big companies, they are like they're owned by investors who want to make money, and it feels like they are crumbling a bit, or a lot. So maybe with the help of AI and smaller teams, that smaller studios will pop up with like senior people from the industry starting new studios, and with the right intent. So they want to do amazing VFX and they want to have a good place to work. It's not about the money. Of course, you want to...
It's also about the money. But
you have to make a good living, but you don't have to have a lot of shareholders that...
Yeah, exactly. That's the problem. I mean, like when you have like so many people that are sucking the job and the money out of your art, of your art job, that's the problem. When instead you are the ones being there, and on top of you, there's only one or two people that are the owner of the company, and they want to make it good because they are part of the industry. They know how industry works. They know how they should do. They are like much more involved in that things, and they're going to be able at some point to control also the client in a way. And especially if that was another topic that I think we discussed back then. I mean, a trade union. It would be nice to have a trade union of companies to start to dictate our rules. Because the big problem in our industry is that we are like at demands of the client. Every time the client asks something, the company is always scared of losing the client because, they're going to go somewhere else next time. Be my guest. Go somewhere else, please. Because if you are a bad client, I don't want you. So if you find a good amount of companies that sign between themselves a sort of agreement and they do a trade union in the way they're going to sell the project. For instance, one of the things that could solve the issue in the VFX industry with budget and stuff like that would be having royalties on the selling of the movies or the product. So why an actor can sign something like this and a VFX company can't? Imagine a project like Aquaman that make over $1 billion. If you get only the 2% of the shares, you make 20 extra million. Those 20 extra million, I can do as an investment. You say, you know what? You're going to pay me this amount of money for the project. But since I think that the project is amazingly good, I want to share with you the risk. I will put extra effort on my company. So over time and everything, we're going to be partner in crime in this, but you're going to give me a share. Yeah. I want a piece of the cake. I know that this cake going to be really good and 100 people will buy it, but you're going to give it to me. Why can't we do it? That's what I don't understand. Why can't visual effects, big visual effects studios, or even small group of visual effects go into a client and say, you know what? Yeah, you want 500 shots that I make. And the movie is like 1,500. I'm not saying I want 30%, but give me at least a 5% of share. Of the share, you're not putting your money at risk. I want only if we make money of it. And I'm sure we make, because I will put extra effort, because I know that I'm going to take out a piece of the cake that not only will repay me, but would serve me as a bonus for my people, as a bonus for my VFX soup that did so much a great job in doing the whole thing that it deserved like an extra 20K as a bonus, 50K as a bonus. Imagine for each movie you can make an extra 5, 10 millions. You make 10 projects in a year, you make like 100 millions more in a year. And that would easily solve the problem of the industry, or majority of the problem, because everything will be much more balanced. You want to ask me more, give me more. You want to ask me extra effort, I'm more than happy, give me 1%. So you're going to ask a retake for this, you have a reshoot, okay, give me another 1% back. I'm not going to want money more now, but you're going to give me money later. Share with me the risk.
Yeah. And what do you think about the artists unionizing?
I think it's mainly could be a good thing. I want to see more companies unionizing. It's a very complex topic in unionizing. For sure, not having a union is not a good thing. I'd be completely honest. I always was very vocal with the people I was working with, even if there's not an official union. Let's try to be unionized, at least in the intent, in the way we do. If they come to us on a Friday evening asking us, oh, this weekend you're going to come in, you're going to say, oh, you know? So if everyone says, no, we're not going to do it, what are they going to do? They cannot fire all of us. They can blacklist all of us. That's the thing. When you are a union in the way you present yourself. So you choose one way of presenting that it's to protect your own rights. But not because you want to be an asshole, but you want to live your life. There are people that have family. I don't have families. You have family, for instance. I mean, like, you cannot come to me one day before and say, oh, this weekend you're going to have overtime. I don't care about your plan. I don't care about your plan. Are you serious? Because there are like companies that work like that.
Yeah.
I've seen many times. I don't care. I mean, like, it's not my company. I would probably not do it for my company because I would teach my client how to properly act for my company. And do you think I'm going to do like that for your company? It's not even your company. It's company of some investor. I'm talking obviously about big corporation. But I'm just saying in general, that's the point. If you have a union, you can all go together and say, you know what? Let's try to be less, let's acceptant of, can you say acceptant? Anyway, let's accept less this kind of bullshit, you know? Yeah. Because we need to have a lifestyle. You need to have a life. I mean, like, I can still see people doing 70 hours in a week.
Yeah.
People getting divorced, people getting separated, people don't see their child. We're not working like in hospital. We're working on an entertainment industry. This should be fun. This should be something like that you do and you are pleased, not to destroy your lives. I see people going burnout, people losing completely their shape. They're out of shape. They're not eating well. They're like, come on, guys.
Yeah.
Is it worth it to what? For like a line of credit in a movie? 1 in 1,000 people in a movie? Seriously? So you can go on Facebook or on Instagram and put your names, hey, and then you're gonna have like your friends say, yeah, you're so good. That's your main goal. I would strongly suggest you to revisit your priorities, my friend, because that's your goal. We are made of different kind of like we are made different. Because it's not my point.
But now if things pick up, when they pick up, and the studios will compete for work again, how should you think as an artist when you get an offer? You've been out of work for months, and then they come, oh, we have this project, we can't pay you your regular rate, but we can pay you this.
That's probably what's gonna happen. There are two main things. I mean, one is gonna be obviously now that all the company ran out of job, when the job will come back, they will obviously underbid even more than usual, probably, to get some job. Obviously, this means that they will try to lower some other salary. So when you're gonna go there and then you're gonna negotiate your salary, that's gonna be a tough part, because I cannot say to people how they should act or not act, because everyone has different stories. I don't know how much money you have on the side. I don't know if you have side hustles. I don't know if you were able to leave, or how many people that are living under your rooftop. So that can be. I would strongly suggest not to undersell yourself, because that's gonna be something that you're gonna pay on the long run. I think there will happen two different things. The first kind of wave, they're gonna hire the desperate ones, whoever at whatever condition. When they're gonna discover that they're not gonna be able to finish the project, they're gonna look for the serious people. And those serious people, if they are like badass enough, they're gonna even raise their salary compared to the old ones. This is my prediction for the 2024/2025. There's going to be two big waves.
Yeah.
One is going to be the first one. There's going to be, especially the first project, first company, or they're going to be some company that are going to be like very smart in the long run. They're going to say, okay, that's going to be the first project, but we're going to take other mores. So they're going to start to take more seniors, and they want to secure those people. I still think there are out there some companies like that, but are more rare. The other ones, I think that's the only two possible solution are those ones. People that are gonna like sell their soul to whatever for whatever money, and it's fine. I understand. I don't blame. I don't judge. I don't say anything. I don't think it's very smart. I don't think it's gonna pay in the long run, or it's gonna pay for the industry itself. But you have to do what you have to do.
Yeah.
So everyone has bill to pay and families and everything. So I will never judge and say you did it wrong, but try to be mindful and not try to leave right away and say, okay, yeah, sign it.
Yeah.
That's my suggestion.
Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah. So what I heard is that a lot of companies thought the VFX studios that the work was supposed to pick up in like second quarter this year.
Yeah.
Or maybe even now in the first quarter, but because of how the film studios have been losing money due to the strikes, and they don't want to do the shoots last year, so they pushed it to this year, which pushed all the projects, so that it's probably gonna pick up in Q3. I've heard this from several places, but I don't know how.
Yeah, obviously. I mean, it depends also on the kind of department you are. Obviously, the comp are going to be the last one to pick up, but they were the last one to let go. So I mean, like it's a bit of balance. I think that right now there are like some company bidding for some stuff, not that many, but there's something. But as you said, probably, I don't think it's going to be before the summer. That something will happen in a proper way. The the real ramp up would be towards autumn, like August, September. That will be like, probably will be go back to the usual kind of standard. And it's rough. It's rough. It's 1 year and a half from the starting of the strike, because the strike started in April. The actor ones. So it's tough. Coming after the COVID, we're just like ramping up after COVID, going back to normal, and then bam.
Yeah, crazy times.
It's very crazy. Hopefully, not gonna happen anything else in the meantime.
Yeah, but I think I've looked really. I had really a bad feeling about AI, and like I've worried quite a lot over the fact, since Sora was announced or they released the demo, and some people talking online about how it's going to be, but then over the last couple of weeks I've been more calm about it. We're going to be needed still, and we're going to be able to do cooler stuff and having a more positive outlook. And I think talking to you, I also reinforces this.
Good.
So
good.
So
it was a positive talk.
Yeah.
That's good. That's good.
So I think this has been really, really good, really enlightening, and a lot of good information. If people wanna get mentored by you or wanna get in touch with you, where should they find you?
I think they can find. I think it's not visible very much in this one. Probably I can move it here. Pixel Mentor. So it's pixelmentor.com, written like pixelmentor.com. I'm still putting on online the full website, so it's still a work in progress. Otherwise, they can find me. They can look for me on LinkedIn. It's easier. They ask for me on LinkedIn. Like the YouTube channel is I just opened it like a couple of months ago. Again, it's YouTube/Pixel Mentor. Again, what I was saying before, use the same things everywhere. Yeah. So there's also the name. I choose it because of that reason, because I need to verify that everything was available on every platform, from the website to all the thing. So everything is like PXL Mentor is gonna be me. So, awesome. But if they get in touch with me on LinkedIn, it's easier. So until like all the website is online properly, I will have like private mentorship and also like courses that I will sell like much less than obviously for a mentorship. Again, I want to create something that I'm also doing. Like I did like a Discord channel, and I'm trying to group like professional in that Discord channel. All the people I know in the industry, I will try to bring them on that channel to be a supportive channel. That's why Pixel Mentor, because it's not only me. I want to create something that it's an open portal for people that want to learn. That's obviously there's gonna be like paying stuff, but there's gonna be a lot of like exchange of information and exchange of knowledge, sharing your work on let's say on the Discord channel. You share your work on a specific channel on the server, and whoever can go there and check. Can be me, can be another high-end professional, can be another student, can be another junior. But in that way, I think it's gonna open the door to the sharing of the knowledge. I think that's the most important thing, like sharing the knowledge and giving like the chance to people to interact with professionals that would be difficult to reach otherwise. So that's why I'm trying to do this. Many colleagues they joined already. I will increase the numbers, but again, still like very early stages of all these, because I started only in January officially to do this. So as a brand, Pixel Mentor. Yeah. So the Discord channel is still like very early. The YouTube channel, you have only, 10 videos probably or something like that. But I'm trying to go for the quality, proposing something that you don't find there. I don't like to put like 20 videos that don't make any sense. So I'm doing like different channels. What different kind of playlist. One is called Pixel Review, where I do review of people and I put them online so other people can benefit of the things that I said. Yeah. Another one is called Pixel Help, where I found on, Facebook, or people that write me with specific problem they're having with a scene or a file. Can be Maya, can be Substance Painter, can be any other things. They send me their file, and I open the file, I troubleshoot the problem, I make a video, and I post it out. So people, that's awesome. It's not only about, people that write you, could be this, could be that on Facebook, that you're not going to find the solution. But I actually open the file and tell you exactly which one is the issue and why you're having the issue. Wow. So that's what I'm awesome. Trying to do. Yeah. I'll try my best. Yeah. And there's going to be another one that's going to go Pixel Interview when I'm going to do an interview. So probably I'm going to call you back another time to exchange this,
I would be happy to do that, be on the other side.
Yeah. It's cool. It's cool.
Awesome. Best of luck with the Pixel Mentor.
Thank you very much, my friend, and thank you for the advertising that you're making of it.
Awesome. Thank you so much. This was really great.
Was my pleasure, and thank you very much for inviting me. I was looking forward for this because I was sure it would be like a very interesting interaction between professional and I think we gave like to people like good insight and honest insight of the industry and of the overall like mentoring, working professional. So I think it was an interesting job.
And that's all for today. I really hope you got something valuable out of this. And I encourage you to go check Cristian's content out on YouTube, Pixel Mentor, link in the show notes. And as I said before, he's talking a lot about stuff that many tutorials miss, and that is how, and maybe more importantly, why you work in a certain way, the importance of naming convention and references and stuff like that, so that you can work in a professional pipeline. So if you want to get into the industry, especially in these times, these turbulent, dire times, all these small things, they really set you apart. So they really matter. So go learn from him, and then you're gonna get a job. Awesome. Thank you so much for listening, and I'll see you in the next one.